that he would have listened to the podcast.
And it's not even just like with that. The thing that really bothered me was like his New Zealand accent really stuck out as being like just weird, like and uncomfortable. Like, why does he have a New Zealand accent? Like, there's no real reason given. And the kid just can't act. And like that, there's supposed to be some kind of heart between the relationship between that character and Harley Quinn, like some kind of bond growing between them. But because of the nature of how thrown together the story is, it's jumping backwards and forwards. Like they only have like 5 minutes of screen time together. Like the same thing happens. There's this Harley Quinn's living above a Chinese restaurant, and I'm really good friends with this person, Mr. Wu, I don't know what his name was, who runs this Chinese restaurant, and then he betrays her later on, and it's supposed to be this like really sad moment in the movie, and it's like, you just introduced that guy. You've just introduced him like a couple of minutes ago, and not only that, Harley Quinn is supposed to be a villain. She's a villain. Killed him. She's an anti-hero.
If that had been in the comics and that guy turned on her like that, he would have been a pool of blood on the ground within a second of her finding out that he'd done that. Like, yeah, it's weird. And the same with Cassandra Cain. I admit it's miscast. My first thought would have been, if I was a Hollywood producer and someone said to me, we want to make the Cassandra Cain character, I would have been, what's Awkwafina's phone number? Like, make her a little bit older. Awkwafina would have been absolutely perfect for the role, but yeah, I don't know. Again, it just feels like it's one of those missed opportunities that they went for. So
I think, had I at least been really entertained, I guess, by the fight scenes, that would have saved the movie a bit for me. But even there, it really lost me. I'm sorry. It's just the way that I'm fine with women in movies beating up a bunch of men, whatever. It doesn't matter. But like, if just the way that this movie goes about it is really the complete wrong way. It looks like the stuntmen are just being really accommodating to these tiny women who, you know, the movie Bullfinger.
Yeah.
You remember the movie that Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy are making at the end of the movie, where they're just like really badly fighting, and the stuntmen are being like flung around the room like people. That's what it looks like in this.
Yeah,
like, you can get you might be able to get the director from John Wick to kind of choreograph the fight scenes, but it takes more than just that to really sell them. And yeah, so it just, like, Atomic Blonde was a movie that I thought had some really great fight scenes in it. When my favorite fight scene in Atomic Blonde was that whole long one take. It wasn't exactly one take, but you know, where it's just focusing on Charlize Theron going through this building, fighting all these guys. And that was such a great scene, like more so than even the rest of the movie, because she was getting messed up throughout it. Like, it was kind of like this frantic scene that, like, she's getting bruised up, she's getting messed up, like, throughout the scene. She's getting, like, cut and bloody and everything. And it's just, there's nothing like that in this. It just feels like a complete waste of the R rating that they had. Considering the comic nature of the movie, like, other than just having the characters say the F word every now and then, there wasn't really much in it that really sold it as being an adult film. Yeah. There's a bit of blood and gore, but it's like you can get away with a lot of that stuff in a PG-13 movie nowadays, especially if, like I was saying, had they just stuck with the idea of maybe really making it a lot more comical and making it a lot more making it just a lot more like you're just seeing kind of like a wacky vision of the world through Harley Quinn's eyes. Like, they could have gotten away with a lot more, but yeah, there's just so many bad decisions made here that it really made the movie just unenjoyable on almost every level.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess, where do we sum up now? Was what did you think of this movie out of 5?
I'm going to give this 2 out of 5. I mean, there's a couple of things in it. Like I said, Ewan McGregor's performance was interesting at times. Even Margot Robbie was great at times as well, but there's just so many things wrong with it. Like Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn comes off more like a Margot Robbie comes off as a little bit more like a tank girl kind of character in this movie than as Harley Quinn. And despite the movie really supposed to be about her emancipation, about her really standing up for herself, and it really wants to drum that message into you, it just shows how much that character, or at least how they've done the character, how much she really does need the Joker to bounce off of, or Batman, or some other kind of character to stand to kind of. She needs to be a supporting character, and there are other stories. They could have done something really great with that character. God knows there's plenty of Harley Quinn standalone comics out there, but yeah, they just didn't manage to pull it off. And as a Birds of Prey movie, Jesus, there's not even worth talking about. So yeah, just 2 out of 5 for me. I'm gonna and even that probably a bit. That's being generous.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5, because I probably, if it had kept on going the way it was going at the start, I probably would have given it 4 out of 5. But the end of the movie made me want to give it 1 out of 5. So I'm gonna go down the middle and give it 3 out of 5. Like I said, there was elements early on that I really, really liked, and I thought they should have continued with that. I loved Ewan McGregor's character until he became a walking cliche. The same with Harley. I liked her early on, but then they almost made her a cliche at the end. And like I said, that final fight sequence was probably one of the worst fight sequences I think I've seen in cinema for a long time. But I enjoyed the early stuff. Also, being a DC fan, I just can't forgive them for screwing up the Birds of Prey origin story, because it is such a great origin story if you go back and do it the original way. So, 3 out of 5 for me. That's it for us taking a look at the Harley Quinn movie. Let's just call it that, considering it's got 2 different names now. A 2 out of 5 from Kyle, a 3 out of 5 from me. That's it for this episode of the Popcorn Conspiracy, but we'll be back very, very soon with another episode of the Popcorn Conspiracy. I've been Dave G.
And I've been Kyle.
And we'll see you very, very soon.